Hello and welcome to Askler here on Loading Ready Run, where we're here to ask your questions, and that doesn't make any sense. You've already asked the questions. We're here to provide answers to them, probably. In this month's edition, it's me, Graham, joined by Cameron.
Hello.
And Heather.
Yo.
And we have a variety of questions here submitted by yourselves through the community post that you can access if you are a YouTube member. That's the member perk, is you get to ask us questions for Askler. And we have a bunch of questions that one or more of us said we were interested in answering. That's how this works. Let's get to it. Oh, actually, wait, before we get to it. Before Cameron got on the call, the rest of us were talking about something else, and now I'm curious. So I do have a question. Cameron, if you were going to write down, if you're going to use emoji to get across the concept of Starbucks, what would you use for that?
Do I have a character limit?
No, just in turn, only emoji. Because myself and Heather and Paul were talking about it, and all three of us have different emoji solutions for this.
I want to say that Starbucks is so universal and so omnipresent, and in fact, so hegemonic in the cafe universe that you could just use coffee. Like a singular coffee emoji. And Starbucks has terraformed that concept.
That's fair. We have so many coffee shops in Victoria, though.
It's true. But
so I said that because I know that people are going to want to know everyone else's. Because I just messaged Paul about this today because there's one on his way to the office. And so I said just the star and then the pile of dollar bills. So it was just Starbucks. It was very literal. What was yours, Heather?
Between Corey and I, we use a star and a peach because we refer to Starbucks as Starbuds all the time.
Right. And then Paul's, which I also quite like, was a mermaid and a coffee.
Hard to argue with that, actually. The mermaid is like very, well, literally iconic.
It's the logo, yeah. Anyway, well, cool. Now I know. I was like, wait, this is... how did we all come up with different solutions for this? Anyway, let's get into the first question now. So, from Sean Riley, what is your preferred solution, speaking of solutions, to the Fermi paradox? Feel free to interpret that as which one you think is right or which one you hope is right. And I believe this question was directed largely at you, Cameron.
Yeah, well, okay, if you're not familiar with it, the Fermi paradox comes from the American, well, Italian, I guess, physicist Enrico Fermi, who, when he was working, the story goes, working on the Manhattan Project, he was sitting there having lunch, and he just said, "Where are they?" Meaning, where are all of the other intelligent life forms in the universe, right?
Right.
Like, if we're broadcasting radio and all kinds of other radiation into the universe, shouldn't we be able to see everyone else's as well? And we can. So the Fermi paradox is frequently like formulated as the great filter, because the immediate thought is like, well, if they're not there, then something must have got them. And the thing that gets them is, the great filter, whether it's like discovering a technology that we're just not able to manage, or, there are weird catastrophes happening in the universe at random intervals that we can't anticipate.
Or the Tyranids.
Right? Or the orcs. And my preferred solution to it is that we don't know what spacefaring civilizations look like. And we don't know what to look for. Either that or whatever life in the universe is responsible for what the universe looks like. And it's just like that deeply integrated.
I just assume that other life is very far away.
Yeah.
I assumed that they took one look at us and they said, "I ain't touching that."
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, no, those are popular solutions.
Yeah. My favorite sort of answer to, like, is there other life in the universe is the one from Contact, which is great, with Jodie Foster. And I think it's her dad in the movie who, his sort of read on it is like, maybe there isn't. But if there is no other intelligent life out there, what a tremendous waste of space. Right? And it's like, there must be, because otherwise, what's even the point?
Yeah, right. Like, if we're I'm not comfortable taking on that kind of responsibility.
Yeah. All right, this next question is directed largely at me, in fact, by name, from Bruce Clark, who says, Graham, what is your beef with Papyrus? I have no horse in this race. I'm font agnostic, but I'm curious about your strong feelings. Here's the thing. And yes, many people have linked me to the SNL short with Ryan Gosling about Papyrus. I don't actually dislike the font itself. There's nothing actually inherently wrong with the font Papyrus. I don't love it. It's not one of my favorites. But the issue with Papyrus is that it is massively overused. There was a period of time where it just came on computers, like certainly on Apple computers. It just was like inbuilt with the operating system for a long time. And you see it everywhere in situations where you shouldn't see it because it's like kind of different and interesting and funky. And people are like, ooh, I'm looking for a cool font, but that one's boring, but this one looks neat, so I'm going to use it. And once you start looking for it, you see it everywhere, like on shop signs, like bakeries or, like antique stores, like on letterhead and signage and logos. And it's like, it shouldn't be used for all of those things at the same time. If it was only ever used in situations where it was appropriate, it would not be a problem. It's the overuse, it's the saturation of Papyrus that is an issue.
Out of curiosity, what do you think is an appropriate use of Papyrus? Like a stationery shop?
That would probably be pretty good because, like, it's a weird font, right? Like it's intentionally, and you can, even by its name, right? It's meant to evoke like very sort of cusp of recorded history kind of, like, obviously not, because the cuneiform was not the character glyphs that we use today, but in it, it's like worn, like the font itself has like little like nicks and cuts cut out of it, like it's from it looks like it's been chiseled into stone, and then that stone was like lost in the bottom of a riverbed for 1,000 years. And so yeah, I mean, something like, it's funny because there's a greeting card company called Papyrus that does not use that font.
No, I'm just confused.
Yeah. But yeah, something like something like maybe a museum shop, like a museum gift shop, for something like a natural history or a human history museum. Something kind of like that, but not just like a random business that you want a font that's not Times. There are so many better fonts for just random logo and letterhead. But now it's sort of hard to gauge what an appropriate use of it is, because now my answer is just like, never. But it's not the font's fault.
Fair.
I mean, don't blame the child, blame the creator.
Yeah, exactly. We got another one from Bruce and another one for Cameron, which is asking you, as an Imperial Guard player, I'm sorry, I've jumped ahead of where Paul is. As an Imperial Guard player, do you prefer chimeras or tauroxes? Tauroxes?
Yeah. Okay. So
Chimeras?
This is a Tauri, I guess. This is a Warhammer 40K question. And
I got that far, and then I was unable to figure out anything else.
The Imperial Guard is one of the factions in Warhammer 40K, which is a tabletop miniature game set in the nightmare far future of the 41st millennium. The Imperial Guard is just like basic regular humans with cheap weapons and armor. And they rely on like tanks and just brute force to get the job done. And they have 2 transport vehicles, the Chimera and the Torox. The Chimera is like a fully tracked little like light tank with a small turret, and the Torox is like an armored half-track. I prefer the Chimera because I don't know, it's got like a lower, sleeker profile, even though the kit is much older. I find the Torox kind of like top-heavy looking and a little gaudy, which is a strange criticism to level at anything in 40K because the entire point is that it's hideous. But yeah, no, I think the Chimera is a little more of a, I don't know, it's a more satisfyingly army-like vehicle. Right? I feel it evokes the correct amount of G.I. Joe-ness for the Imperial Guard.
Awesome. Well, that actually neatly dovetails with our next question, for me anyway, from Michael Hutton, which is, are there subjects you could easily listen to the other two speak about for hours? And in Cameron's case, it is in fact 40K. I would be happy to listen to Cameron talk about 40K for a long time, because I think that the lore of that is absolutely bonkers, and I love it. I similarly, I mean, really the answer is whatever they're excited about. And this is true of anyone else in Loading Ready Run. I'm just keen on hearing about things that interest you. But in Heather's case, I think it would, I mean, it's probably Nintendo or anime. Now, Heather's not unique in enjoying Nintendo or anime, but I get plenty of Beej's Nintendo and anime opinions, which are not necessarily aligned with Heather's.
Oh no,
and I'd be happy to listen to Heather's sometime as well.
Our opinions differ wildly. Sometimes I'm not even sure how we're compatible. Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like I was thinking about this question earlier today because surprise, we read these beforehand, and I was like, well, okay, in Cameron's case, probably stationery, because I know we both like stationery.
Oh yeah, also that
pens,
actually,
paper, things like that. I'm like, that's an interest that we have a crossroads on, and I don't know as much about. So I'm like, yeah, perfect. Okay, Graham. He just does podcasts for everything he has a high interest in, so it's not like it would be hard for me to go and find that.
Yeah. I've recorded so much podcast this week. Like 3 hours of magic.
Yeah.
I have been enjoying the Crack-a-Packs. I don't listen to all of our podcasts because that's
so much
a lot.
content.
And I don't need to do that. But the Crack-a-Packs I watch all the way through because they're short. And I do that with like a lot of our shorter content. I'll watch it all the way through and be like, oh, okay, nothing is wrong. Great. And that was entertaining. Good 15 minutes.
Got there.
And I'm like, I don't care as much about Magic in terms of like the gameplay mechanics, even though some of them are pretty interestingly elaborate. But lore and stuff is neat. But I'm like, there's just something about Graham goofing on a bunch of cards. It's kind of a fun time.
That's awesome. That's good. Being digestible and watchable was a goal for that show. So success.
Nicely done. Like I could listen to Heather talk about actually like industrial design for hours, like costuming, the craft of creating stuff. Like whenever we've gotten into that, I've always found it endlessly fascinating. And Graham, I really enjoy all of your thoughts on music.
Oh, thank you.
Like when you are on Brave New Faves and are able to like take us on a deep dive into one specific artist, I really enjoy that.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. I really enjoy getting to do that. I feel very lucky when Kathleen allows me into her streaming home to do that kind of thing. So, yay. Cool. All right. Next up from Toast Brought Mendu. Yep, that's the name. Asks, how would you dispose of a body? Purely hypothetical question. Well, I've got good news and bad news. Good news is we've answered, I say we, Loading Ready Run, has answered this question. Bad news, the video is no longer available on the website. I just tried to load it and it says blip.tv refused to connect. And I was like, oh, right. This one was on Blip.
Like,
Well,
you will need to install the Real Media Player.
yeah, this was a season 4 video.
Some secrets need to be buried.
Yeah, but we did a video. It was one of our X Ways to Y videos, and it was Ways to Hide a Body. Aired April 20th, 2007. And what do we have? The classic, Bury It. The Weekend at Bernie's. Stash It in a Chesterfield. It Is Just Playing World of Warcraft. The Weekend at Bernie's 2. Taxidermy. Will It Blend? Feed It to the Animals. Resort to Capitalism. Leave It in the Zombie Reserve. In the video, it was the Homo Mortuus Reserve, which was a reference to a different video that we'd made. Hide It in a Locker like Solid Snake, or just walk away. So any of those could be possible. You'll just have to imagine the terrific comedy that we did. This, I'll tell you, actually, the knock-on effect of this video, this is the second time that Paul played a dead body.
Oh, is that where that, well, not originated, but...
And then I
the
think it was
line started
after
to
this
draw.
one that it was like, guess Paul's always the dead body now.
That's true. We always hit our stride of what we're going to do forever after we do the second one.
Yep. So, anyway, there you go. There's the answer to that question. Find it on an archive somewhere. Next, from Pinball Witch. What's a piece of media you've been enjoying recently that you haven't really had a chance to talk about? Maybe a TV show or album or book, whatever it may be. I can start us off if you two are thinking.
Yeah, please.
So
Go for
it's
it.
kind of, this may sound weird, but for me, WandaVision,
Nice.
because I only very recently watched it, and everyone else got it out of their system, and I'm afraid to go into the
Oh, yeah.
the spoiler, our internal spoiler, like Marvel spoiler channel, because they're already talking about Loki, and I've only barely finished Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So Loki's next, but I'm just late to it. So no one wants to, but like nobody's talking about WandaVision anymore. But damn, that was so cool. I'm talking about all like the meta, the way that it was shot and edited, and the way that the aspect ratio kept changing. It was really
that
cool.
set design.
Oh my god,
I wanted sets for Allure like that so bad.
it was so good.
I've heard there's a meal she cooks in one episode that is just like all of the hideous recipes from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Like the dinner party stuff.
Yeah. It's terrific. It's really, really good. It's I don't know, because I'm inferring then that you have not seen it, Cam.
Oh.
I don't know where you are in giving a crap about the MCU, but I would recommend watching it. It's quite good.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's 10 episodes?
Yeah, I think that one's 10. I think Falcon's like 8?
6.
6?
Yeah, it surprised me.
Because I know Loki's 6.
They got to, I was watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and they got to episode 5, and I was like, dang, they got to this point faster than I thought. How many episodes? Oh, because it's the second to last episode. Okay. So, because I was like sort of mentally tracking where the arc of the series was going to go. And then episode 5, I was like, wait, that seems like they're getting to that point like sooner, because for some reason I thought it was also 10 episodes or maybe 8 episodes. And I was like, that's a lot quicker than, oh wait, no, that's right on time. Okay, good.
Yeah, if you liked what they did with WandaVision, I think you'll like a lot of the set stuff they did with Loki.
I've heard that the
That
art
was
direction and
real good
production
too.
design in Loki is very cool. So I'm
It's a
super
lot of
excited for that.
I enjoyed Loki the best out of all 3 personally, but
Nice.
that's because I didn't care. I don't care as much for action related stuff, which is very Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Smashy smash.
Definitely. What about you though? To the question, what's something you've haven't really had a chance to talk about?
Well, I also have been indulging in an older piece of media, Graham. The Wonderful Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah.
Which started out in I think 2017. And I don't even know if people were talking about it when they talked about it, because I didn't. If I'm not watching a thing, I ignore all conversations about.
This is not a dig. My parents have been on me to watch this show.
Oh, I've been enjoying the heck out of it. I think it's late 1950s New York. So it's got a lot of older set pieces as well. It's about Mrs. Maisel, or they call her Midge, but that's not her actual. She's got a longer actual first name. But she's like the perfect housewife from the 1950s. You know, she measures her legs so that she knows exactly that she is proportionate, and she plans everything out perfectly so that her children are perfect because she's got one of each, and she's got the husband who goes to work, and they're very well to do, and she's from a Jewish family, and everything is perfect. And her husband wants to be a comedian, and he's crap. But she's very good at it once her life falls apart and he leaves her, and she just goes up on stage and rants about things. I don't care for stand-up comedy. I wanted to check out the show because it's created by the same person who did Gilmore Girls, which I really like, and I like shows that have a tinge of drama, but I also like period piece stuff because that's a very neat time capsule of getting to see things like that. And yeah.
Sweet. All right. I was actually, Beej mentioned earlier today that you were watching it, and I was like, man, I really do need to see that.
Yeah, we're not caught up. We're like mid-season 2
well,
right
there's like
now.
3 seasons of it, yeah.
But it's been it's I like drama stuff, so I'm just like, oh yes, feed me more. And be just like, oh, that was a lot for tonight. Maybe tomorrow. I'm like, oh, fine. Wait.
I know that feeling. Cam?
Well, I basically talk about everything that passes through my brain on Twitter. So I don't hold a lot of things back. That being said, I've really liked Lingua Ignota lately. She's like a musician. I think she's American, but she has like these very like elaborate opera albums. They're very angry, and I like them a lot. Otherwise, what have I even been doing with my life lately?
God, I know that feeling.
Ask
You know what
myself
I've been
that every morning.
You know what I've been watching a lot of in the past week is the Olympics.
Oh yeah, right.
'Cause
those are happening.
We're very lucky in Canada to have unfettered access to all of it. You can just go on the CBC website and they will show you anything that is being broadcast by the Olympic Broadcasting System. So you can just be like, what's this? Handball? Great. Skeet shooting, team archery, all the stuff you never see on TV. What do you see on TV in the US? There's diving, swimming, gymnastics. What do you see in TV in Canada? Diving, swimming, rowing.
Rowing.
You know, the things that we figure Canadians are going to do fairly well at. You know, volleyball, rock climbing, skateboarding, BMX racing. The BMX racing track is astonishing. Rugby sevens, which is a different, shorter kind of rugby. It's so fast. There's only 7 players per side, and each half is 7 minutes, and they don't even stop the clock when the referee's yelling at someone. So the games go by very quickly.
I've begun to value that more and more in my games lately. Is it just over fast? Great, I'm in.
Yeah. Like, what I love about the Olympics is there's a preposterous number of things happening that you only ever see at the Olympics. And, you know, I feel very lucky that we get to just watch all of it. I'm right now live is boxing, baseball, sailing, men's field hockey, women's water polo, women's basketball, trampoline, canoe, men's canoe kayak slalom, and women's 25-meter pistol shooting.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
I love the Olympics. Unabashedly love the Olympics.
The thing I love about the Olympics is my ability to become instantly an expert in whatever I'm watching in the course of about 30 seconds. I have no idea why the Olympics does this to me, because I can be watching, like, you know, you're sitting at the pub and there's the sport on and you're watching it and being like, I have no idea what's going on here, but everyone seems excited. But the Olympics, I'm like watching it being like, I'll watch fencing. He's going to need to score 4 more points here in the bottom half of this match, or else, you know.
Oh, that's going to cost him.
Yeah.
That's why I like watching archery. It's very easy to tell how someone's doing in a round of archery, right?
True.
It's like 8. Oof. Rough. 9. All right. 8. Oh. 7. What are you doing? Anyway, sorry. Where are we? Right. Next question. Sorry. Apparently that's what I really want to rant about. Moberg asks, how is wrestling doing? Okay. You got 2 answers. I'm going to talk about the 2 biggest wrestles in the US right now.
Mm-hmm.
WWE, I watched WrestleMania, and then recently I watched Money in the Bank, and I've watched nothing in between, and it's kind of ass, to be honest. It's not, can't be arsed to care. And on the other end of the spectrum, you've got AEW with interesting people doing interesting stories, and it's pretty sweet. And if you're going to check out any North American wrestling at the moment, I would watch AEW because it's pretty great. And I'm trying desperately to care about WWE, and it just is not happening.
I feel like if it was going better, people would know because there'd be more sidewalk slams.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're just so busy. At least I'm so busy right now. I haven't had time to like watch a lot of it. That's been the biggest problem with the old Pandini, as I heard someone Scottish on TikTok refer to it as. It works better with the accent, but I thought it was hilarious that she was talking about since the beginning of the Pandini. Anyway, Par also asks, for Cameron, thank you for playing Control. Made me play it too. The assist mode made me feel really powerful.
Yeah, like Control is a great game that has way too much game.
I need to play that game because
it's really cool.
For my mileage, Remedy has never missed.
Yep, I would be prepared to believe it. Everything that happens in that game is awesome except for the gameplay. Which is kind of tedious, especially the boss fights, which are just damage sponges. But like the writing in it is great. I like the characters. I love the setting. The concept for it is awesome. And I just wish it had less.
Fair enough. I want to play it because I know that it shares a universe with Alan Wake, who apparently is involved in one of the DLCs. And I'm desperate for more Alan Wake.
Yeah, I'm going to need to play that because I have no idea what happened in that DLC.
It's good. Well, I haven't played the DLC, but I mean, Alan Wake is good. So. Next, I'm going to say Junior Wilkie asks, what's your most prized bit of knowledge that you've learned from another of the LRR crew? E.g., how a coffee siphon works from Surge. Either of you want to take that one?
Where do I even begin? The entire skill set I've been developing over the last decade.
Yeah.
Everybody knows so many different things.
Every once in a while I think about what would have happened if I just told Kathleen I was busy that weekend and couldn't film.
Right.
I can't imagine. It would look something very different from this, I think. And I don't know what that is, but...
Was your first video, it was the one where I was a ghost and you were an asshole?
It might have been. It might have also been an ENN episode.
Oh, wow. Right. Forgot about that.
Yeah. But yeah, no, basically everything I do. I don't know if that's a kind of a weaselly answer or not, but this, learning from Lur has shaped the last decade of my life.
All right.
I think the hard part about that question is the most prized bit, because it's just like, I've learned many things. Okay, which one do I value more than the other one? And I'm like, I don't know. So many things that I know how to do, because like I learned how to do a stream setup from diagrams that Paul shared on the internet. Or I think like my most recent one is from a couple of months back. Graham mentioned, because this isn't information that Graham like told me. It's just he mentioned, he's like, oh man, I used subject select in Photoshop, and I was like, oh, Google. Oh, why have I not been doing that? And that like
Right?
shaved like a good 20 minutes off of my thumbnail making.
They just keep adding shit to Photoshop and not telling you about it.
Right. And so it's little things mostly. It's like, oh, I can do this thing 5 minutes faster because somebody just half mentioned, oh hey, I did this thing today. And I'm like, fine now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not. I can't think of a big thing. I mean, in the question you mentioned Serge with the coffee siphon, just coffee knowledge in general from Serge, beer knowledge from Ian. Like, just I'm grateful of all the information I've picked up from everybody. I can't think of one sort of like marquee thing that's just sort of like, boy, thank God I learned X from Y.
I learned about my sound settings from Beej, which was very useful because Windows is ass.
Maybe I'll think more about that. By the way, the video I was thinking of, James is the ghost, and Cameron is the asshole. It was called Past Mistakes. Anyway. Next, from Zen Zephyr, is there a certain game system or concept you would like to play on Dice Friends?
Eclipse Phase is the game that I've been wanting to run for years. A second edition has come out that I need to pick up, but it's this really interesting post-apocalyptic science fiction setting where humanity spread throughout the solar system, and then the Terminator apocalypse happened. Basically. Only it has a more science fiction-y explanation than the AIs all decided to kill us. They were infected by a virus, an alien virus, and it made them behave strangely. And like, people can re-sleeve their bodies into all kinds of things at will. You can change everything about yourself. It's the term they use.
I know, it just sounds gross.
Yeah, like, I mean, getting
re-sleeve.
or degloved.
Degloving, yeah.
Yes, yes. But like, there are people who hang out around the sun because they have bodies that are just giant space whales. And it's just this wonderfully imaginative, humane setting that I kind of want to run players through because I have ideas about it.
Sweet. I didn't actually mark down to answer this question because I don't have any great attachment to any. I played D&D and I played different D&Ds through the years, so I'm happy just playing D&D. I would be happy playing other things, but I don't have anything that I'm like champing at the bit to add. Heather, did you have
I haven't played a lot of different tabletop role-playing game related things. I liked Vampire. I'd do that again. I played Fate once, and that seemed cool, although I think I'd have to read more up on it. I've tried D&D, but I felt like I was doing my taxes trying to make a character, and it made me very tired. And that's kind of, I think that's more my thing of like, I'd like the idea of certain systems where, especially like Fate or what Jacob taught us with Vampire, where it's like kind of a pass, fail, or you're going to succeed, but maybe not in the way you want system, as opposed to there's a lot of numbers, and if you find the right pages in the book after you do an ARG to figure them out, and then additional math, then you can play. I'm like, yeah, okay. I have video games that will do the math for me, so I'll just go.
When I started playing D&D, it was pretty bad for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better now.
Yeah, which is weird because it's still.
Yeah, it's just a lot of new information. Like even Vampire, when we did that was a lot to take in, and I was really glad we had the separate filming days because I still felt really exhausted trying to manage all that and then be on camera and then also play a character. And it's just more of a, I don't have that knowledge base it seems very time consuming to figure it all out, and I lack time.
Yeah, I know. I feel, boy, never related anything more than not having enough time.
Yeah, like if I got into this in high school and I'd already pre-done a lot of that, I would have a better answer for this question today.
All right. And they say also we're fantastic players that they would love to see more of on Dice Friends. I assume that Heather and I are highlighted because we're not on Dice Friends enough, whereas Cameron is on Dice Friends a sufficient amount.
An adequate amount,
yeah.
I hope.
It's true. I want to. I
When was
want
the
to
last time
so
you were on
badly.
Dice Friends?
When was the last time I was on one?
Yeah. Can you remember? Because I don't remember. I can't remember the last time I saw you on a Dice Friends.
Burning Break? My two-shot?
It was no, because we did Dragon's Orders after that. I don't think it.
Before
I don't
the
think it's been
Pandini?
since Dragons. I don't think it's been since Dragon's Orders, which was Dale's second campaign with the Avengineers.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
It's
there's been a
been quite
lot
some
since
time.
then. It's just because I'm doing so many other things, and it's like, hey, do you want to have a thing that you need to do for 8 Monday evenings? And it's like, I do, but I shouldn't, which sucks.
Yeah.
I would like to. Maybe when we are no longer having a Pandini, as we are wont to do at the moment, and things settle down, maybe I'll be able to eke out some more time in my day. That'd be nice. Speaking of Heather, we have an anime question for you. Anime question for Heather. Thoughts on how the Fruits Basket anime reboot turned out from Elasser93? I'm sorry. First of all, there's a Fruits Basket reboot?
Yeah. So there was a first Fruits Basket back in I want to say 2005, but I'm not really sure on that date. So I'm sure if I'm wrong,
vaguely
they'll comment.
familiar with it. I didn't actually watch it.
Yeah, it was being made as the manga was still being written.
Right.
So they did that thing where they did kind of a first arc, and then I don't know if it was a situation where they caught up or that was just all that they were going to make, but then they never made any more. And then however many years later, it happened again, and it was it's the best anime reboot for me personally, because I wasn't
And
happy
then,
about the
years
Sailor
later,
Moon one.
Fruits Basket happened again.
And I wasn't happy about, I guess Cardcaptor Sakura wasn't technically a reboot, it was a continuation, and it was done in its style, and it was okay. It was just kind of slower than I expected. But the Fruits Basket one, I was very happy with, because it was very, very, to me, a very similar art style to the original. They did the entire story this time. It took them 3 seasons, but they at least did the whole thing, which meant I never had to go read the 20-odd volumes of manga.
Handy.
Which was the thing I was actually kind of doing at the time. I fell off of manga. I just found it annoying to try and keep up with. And the publishers keep changing the spine designs, and they don't look nice on my shelf, so out with them. But they kept a lot of the older stuff from the original series, where it's fan blobs and things that are a little bit more slapstick, which a lot of anime reboots have kind of not put in anime anymore, because slapstick seems to have kind of fallen out of favor in more serious stuff. It's always done in the very comedic stuff, which is generally stuff I don't care for, because once you get too far into anime comedy, you're getting a lot of the waifu boob slapping whatevers that don't appeal to me.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, it's perfect.
Great.
I know other people will disagree.
About
I don't
anime?
care.
Surely no one would disagree about anime.
If you comment about your disagreement with me in the comments, I will not respond to you, because I don't care.
But we appreciate the engagement, so thank you. All right. Well, that brings us unrelatedly to our final question from Cat2Cool, which is, what is the best sandwich? So for my mileage, obviously this doesn't help Cameron, being a vegetarian, for my mileage, it's the BLT. It's just specifically the one from the Parsonage, by the way, is the best BLT ever. If you're ever in Victoria, go to the Parsonage and get a BLT. But yeah, bacon, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise. Again, sorry, Cameron, on some lightly toasted bread. It's just very good.
I mean,
there's mine.
I had an idea, and then you mentioned the Parsonage, and their breakfast sandwich is honestly also excellent.
Yeah,
their breakfast sandwich is bonkers good too. Yeah,
like it's served on a Mount Royal bagel from just like down the street, and it has like, I get the one with cream spinach and tomato, and I don't know how much salt they put on it, but it's good.
It's enough.
It's enough. It's the right amount of salt where you're like, I need to drink a lot of water right now because I'm a very simple creature, apparently. Like, there are bacteria that eat this much salt. But yeah, like I used to make a sandwich with a little bit of fried tofu and then tomato and kale and just like a witty reference to a clever metaphor for a slice of red onion, hummus, and then on the other slice of bread, Dijon mustard.
Nice.
And it evoked that BLT like flavor. Like for whatever reason, the hummus, onion, and kale had the same kind of like umami punch as bacon does.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
It was good, but also the leafy greenness.
What's the acronym for that one? We've got, hang on, hummus, onion,
kale,
tomato,
tofu. So you've got a TH.
Hot K.
Okay. No lettuce though.
Yeah, no lettuce.
Okay. The TH is good. We can work with that. I don't have any paper handy.
Thought. No, wait, we already used that as a
hummus, tomato, tofu,
hummus,
kale.
Onion. Yeah, the only vowel is an O.
Thocht.
I mean, could you not jam the two T's together?
I mean, you don't pronounce BLT. You don't say bolt.
True.
So you could just say, you could just say HOKTT or THOKT.
Yeah, and
whichever way trips off the tongue most pleasantly.
Yeah.
I'm trying to solve a problem that
is
didn't
much
exist.
Easier to digest than its name.
Yeah. Heather, do you have a favorite sandwich? I'm not gonna try to make an acronym out of it.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't. Over the last year, Beach and I have a saying for this, which is the best sandwich is the sandwich someone else makes for you, because often we're just like at the end of we're just tired, and then if one of us makes the other one a sandwich, it's like this is the best sandwich ever, and no one can ever take that away. But if I'm gonna choose like an actual sandwich, it's just gonna be a peanut butter jam sandwich because I like simple, fast to make. It generally will deal. It'll be the thing that will be okay to have no matter what you're feeling.
Are you a crunchy or smooth person?
Smooth.
I have zero judgment. I prefer crunchy, but I don't.
I've had crunchy. It's not texture-wise. It's not my favorite.
Fair enough.
I am also a crunchy aficionado.
A crunchosaur.
A crunchosaur. The average crunchy peanut butter enthusiast.
Yeah.
I think I'd like crunchy on something like celery, like the ants on a log thing. I think that could add a lot to it. But when it comes to like peanut butter and jam, I don't think I want crunchy in my jam.
That's reasonable. I think if you take a step back and you think about peanut butter and celery, it sounds mad. It's like, sorry, you're putting peanut butter on celery? But man, that works a startling amount.
Tastes a lot better than toothpaste.
This is great.
Yeah, like the freshness of the celery.
Sorry, that That descriptor really caught me off guard, Heather.
Wait, which
that
one?
was that was the thing that one of my Sunday school teachers fed the kids. I was toothpaste on celery, which I'm still not sure if that's a good thing or not.
You're not supposed to eat toothpaste.
Well, we did.
It's a
We were not very
microabrasive.
old. It doesn't taste very good, personally.
No, toothpaste on celery.
Yeah.
I feel like this is one of those things where I see this question pop up sometimes on online forums where it's like, what's a thing that was totally normal for you as kids, and now that you're an adult, you realize that no one else has this shared experience? And it's like, hey, remember when our Sunday school teacher used to feed us toothpaste on celery? And it's like, no, actually, that's messed up.
See, I only recall it happening the one time, but it's done in that thing where you're a small child, you're a small human being, child,
Right.
whatever, and you have the authority figure who is like, you may eat this now, and you're like, okay, it's snack time. I like snacks, and they make it seem okay, and then if you never see it again because a different authority figure is like, no, you don't know why. So I don't know if that was like they got told never to do it again, or if we only had it happen the one time because the surplus of toothpaste that they must have brought with them was out. I don't know.
But it stuck with you.
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind? Was it Aquafresh?
Oh, and I was like Crest.
Okay. Wow. What a weird thing.
Yeah. I'm going to be thinking about that one for a while.
Amazing. Now I kind of wish I had celery for peanut butter, not for toothpaste.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
But that's all the questions that we have for you this month on Askler. Hope you've enjoyed watching it. If you want to leave us a question for Askler, become a YouTube member, and then you get to do that. And if you don't want to do that, that's totally fine. But you know, subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, do all the other fun stuff. A comment on this video, help the engagement, etc., etc. But we do appreciate everyone who supports us either on YouTube, as I say, or Patreon, or if you watch on Twitch and you're a subscriber over there. Everything helps and makes a difference, and we really value it. So thank you for that. Yeah, that's it. I've been Graham, here with Cameron
Goodbye.
and Heather.
Bye.
And shout outs to Paul for running the tech and everything. And we'll see you next month for more Askler.